Hello students, good morning everyone. So students, today we are going to study the exercise of the first chapter of science, that is matter in our surrounding. Okay, the explanation of the chapter is already done in the last class. So today we are going to start with the question and answers. Okay, the exercises that you have in this chapter, we will study that. Okay, but moving towards the chapter, first we will just do a quick revision on the topics that you have studied in this chapter. What are the topics of this chapter that you have studied? Okay, so let's move towards the contents. Okay, so students, what did you study in this chapter? You studied about the physical nature of the matter. Okay, what is matter, by the way? Anything that has mass and that occupies space is called as matter. Yes or no? Matter, anything that has mass and that occupies space is known as matter. Yes or no? And what are these matter made up of? If you see around, you see many things around you. Yes or no? From small tiny thing to big things. Everything is made up of what? It is made up of matter. And what is this matter made up of? This matter is made up of particles. Yes or no? This matter is made up of particles. Okay. And these particles are very minute, very small, that cannot be seen. Okay. The water that you drink, the food that you eat, then the gas, the air that you breathe, everything is made up of what? Matter. Okay, and this matter is made up of particles. Understood? Then you studied about the characteristic of the matters. Yes or no? What are the different characteristics of the matter? The particles of the matter, they have space between them. Yes or no? You studied about the characteristics of the particles of matter. Now what are the characteristics of the particles of matter? The characteristics are that particles of matter have space between them. Okay. Like suppose I can give you an example. If you dissolve sugar in water, how does it get dissolved? Because it has got some space, the molecular space in them. That is why that sugar gets dissolved into the water easily. Okay, if the liquid do not have that enough space to let that sugar dissolve in it, the sugar will not get dissolved. Okay, sugar does not get dissolved easily in honey. Why? Because honey is thick than water and there is less space than water. That is why the sugar dissolves easily in water rather than honey. Yes or no? This is how we come to know that particles of matter have space between them. Okay. Then the other characteristic is that particles of matter attract each other. The particles of the matter attract each other. Okay. Suppose I give you an example of iron and magnet. Those are also, iron and magnet is also a matter and those are also made up of particles. Yes or no? So they have the property of attracting each other. They can attract themselves. Yes? Then particles of matter are continuously moving. The particles of the matter can move. How? I will give you an example, like see, if you light an incense stick, you know now what is incense stick, the agarbatti that we light while doing puja. That incense stick, if you light, the gas comes, the smoke comes out from that incense stick or not, and later it gets spread in the whole room. How does it get spread? That means that smoke, that gas has particle in it that is moving. that can freely move. Okay, and suppose if you pour some ink into liquid, the ink gets spread over the liquid, yes or no? How does it get spread? Because the particles of that ink, that liquid, is continuously moving. Understood? So these are some characteristics of the particles of matter. Okay, the particles of matter is continuously moving. The particles of matter attract each other. Okay, the particles of matter have space between them. Understood? Then what are the different states of matter? You know that anything that has mass and occupies space is called as matter. Yes or no? But what are the different states of matter? What are the states of matter? The matter can be in 3 states. First is the solid state, second one is the liquid state, and the third one is the gaseous state. That means the gas, the air around us. Okay. Now what are solid? The book, the chair, the table, the pen, pencil. Okay, the television, the fridge, everything is what? Those are all examples of what? These are all examples of solids. Okay. And we can observe that what? Solids have a definite shape. Yes or no? If you see a table at your home, it has a definite shape or not? It has a definite shape, definite size. Okay, a definite boundary. A solid have definite shape, definite size, definite boundary. Why? Because the molecules of the solids are very closely packed. Understood? They do not have space between them. The molecules of the solids are very closely packed and they do not have space between them. That is why a solid has definite shape, definite size. Okay, and they have a fixed volume, and they are very less compressible. That means you cannot break solid easily. The bond between the solid you cannot break easily. The molecular bond between the solid you cannot break easily. They have very less compressibility. Okay. Then liquid state. Liquid is always flowing. Yes or no? The water is always flowing. Why? Because the molecular bond between the water is less closely packed than that of solid. Okay, the molecules of the liquid are less closely packed than that of the solid. That is why the liquid can easily flow. Okay, this liquid do not have a fixed volume or fixed shape. They take up the shape of the container in which you keep it. Yes or no? They take up the shape of the container in which you keep it. Okay, then comes the gaseous state, like air, and the intermolecular attraction between this gas is very less comparing to that of liquid and solid. Understood? That is why gas can flow anywhere. I give you an example of the incense stick. Yes or no? It has no shape, no size, nothing. And it does not take the shape of any other things because it is always flowing. So these are the different states of what? Different states of matter. Okay. Then can matter change its state? There are different states of matter like solid, liquid and gas. And these solid, liquid and gas, can they change the state of Can they change their state? Like from solid, can they change into liquid? And can liquid change into gas? Yes, they can change. Okay. Suppose I give you an example of an ice. When it is freezed, when it is completely freezed, it is a solid. Yes or no? And when you take that ice into the room temperature, it melts and it changes its states into liquid. From solid, it changes into liquid. Yes or no? Again, that liquid, if you give some heat, if you provide some heat, okay, if you boil that liquid, then what happens? That liquid gets evaporated and it changes into gas. It changes into the gaseous state. Yes or no? So this is how the states of the matter can change. Okay, from solid they can change into liquid, and from liquid they can change into the gaseous state. But it depends on the states and the states of the matter, in which state it is. Okay, but a table cannot change into liquid because it has a definite shape and size. Okay, a table cannot change into liquid, but an ice cube can change into liquid. Okay, so yes, matter can change its states, but it depends on the physical nature of the matter. It depends on the physical nature of the matter, whether it is a table, chair, or an ice cube, or a liquid, or a gas. Okay, again gas can change into liquid. How? By the process of condensation. You know what is the process of condensation? The process in which the gas is changed into liquid when it is cooled down. That is called as condensation. Okay, and liquid can change into gas by the process of evaporation, where when you supply some heat, that liquid boils and it turns into vapor. And vapor is what? Vapor is a gas. Yes or no? Then again that liquid can change into solid if you freeze it. If you reduce the temperature of a liquid to 0 degrees Celsius, it will turn into solid. That means it will turn into ice. Okay, so that is how you can change the physical nature of the matter. Understood? Then I have already told you about the evaporation, the condensation, the sublimation process. Evaporation is a process in which a liquid is turned into gaseous state by providing some heat. When you increase the temperature of a liquid, it will get evaporated and change into vapor. Okay, that means it will get evaporated. Understood? Then you can change the state of gas into liquid. How? By the process of condensation. If you decrease the temperature of the gas, okay, if you decrease the temperature of the gas, then it will cool down and it will form tiny droplets of water. That is how the gas is changed into liquid and liquid is changed into gas. And sublimation is a process where solid is directly turned into gaseous state. Okay, sublimation is a process where solid is directly turned into the gaseous state. Okay, so these are the basic things of this chapter that you have studied earlier. Okay, now let's move towards the question and answers, the exercises of this chapter. Okay. So students, let's begin with the question and answers. Okay. Our first question is question number 1. Which of the following are matters? I repeat, which of the following are matters? The options are chair, air, love, smell, hate, almonds, thought, cold, lemon, water, smell of perfume. So these are some words and you have to pick out which of the following are matter. Okay. Then the answer is chair. Why chair is a matter? Because it is a solid. Yes or no? A chair has a definite shape, fixed shape, size. Okay, that is why chair is a matter. Then air. Air is gas. Yes or no? So air is a matter. Then almonds. Almonds is also a matter. Okay. Then cold drink. Cold drink is liquid. It is a matter. And the smell of perfume. The smell of perfume is gas. It is in gaseous state. That is why it is a matter. So the answer is chair, air, almonds, cold drink and smell of perfume. Okay. Question number 2. Give reasons for the following observation. Okay. The observation is the smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell from cold food you have to go close. I repeat my question. Give reason for the following observation. I will read out the observation. The smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell from cold food you have to go close. It means that when a food is hot, okay, the aroma of the food comes out, yes or no? And you can smell it even if you are far away. But if the food is cold, you have to go near to the food to take the smell of the food. Why is it so? Because the smell of hot sizzling food reaches several meters away, as the particles of the hot food have more kinetic energy. Okay, the smell of the hot sizzling food reaches several meters away, as the particles of hot food have more kinetic energy, and hence the rate of diffusion is more than the particles of cold food. Okay, when a food is hot, okay, the particles in the food have more kinetic energy. That means they are very much, the smell of the food can reach to you easily, because the particles of the food is, the molecular force between the food is very high. That is why they can move anywhere. Okay, the kinetic energy of the food, of the hot food is more. That is why you get the smell of the food even if you are far away. Okay. But when the food is cold, the kinetic energy is less. That is why you get less amount of smell. You have to go near to the food to get the smell. Okay. Now students, question number 3. Okay. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation show? I repeat, a diver. Diver means the one who swims inside the water, okay, not the driver. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming. Cut through water means he can get into the water, okay. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Full stop. Which property of matter does this observation show? What is the property? If a diver can swim into the water, he can dive into the water, what is the property of this matter? Okay, the answer is a diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool, as this shows that the particles of water have intermolecular spaces among them and has less force of attraction. I already told you that liquid has less intermolecular force. Yes or no? And the attraction between the molecule is also less. That is why a diver can easily dive into the water and can swim. But if the intermolecular force or spaces among them is high, he cannot dive into the water. Okay, can you dive into the floor? Why? Because floor is solid and the intermolecular spaces in the floor is what? Very much packed, closely packed. Yes, but the liquid have less intermolecular spaces between them. Okay, that is why a diver can easily cut through the water in a swimming pool. Okay, he can easily swim into the swimming pool. Understood? I will repeat the answer once again. Question number 3. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool, full stop. Which property of matter does this observation show? The answer is, a diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool as this shows the particles of water have intermolecular spaces among them and has less force of attraction. Understood? Now question number 4. What are the characteristics of the particles of matter? What are the characteristics of particles of matter? The answer is, the characteristics of particles of matter are: number 1, particles have intermolecular spaces. As I told you, solid, liquid, gas, everyone have intermolecular spaces between them. Okay. Then particles have intermolecular force. They have intermolecular force. Okay. Then particles of matter are continuously moving. The particles of matter can move. That is why it is the characteristic. The particles of matter are continuously moving. Understood? So students, now question number 5. Okay. The mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. Density is equal to mass per volume. What do you mean by density? Mass means weight. Weight of a matter per volume. Okay. Volume means the space that it acquires. Understood? So density is the weight of a matter. That means a substance. Okay. The mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. Density is equal to mass per volume. The formula of density is mass by volume. Mass per volume. Okay. Arrange the following in order of increasing density whose mass is greater. Increasing means more. Whose mass is more. Okay. In the increasing density. Understood? Air, exhaust from chimney, honey, water, chalk, cotton, iron. Understood? Increasing means small, from smaller to bigger. Okay. The density of a matter from small, from less to more. Understood? You have to arrange these following, you have to arrange this according to their density. So the answer is, the substance given in the increasing order of their density can be represented as: first, there is air. First, it is air. Then comes exhaust from chimney. Exhaust means the smoke that comes out from the chimney. Okay. Air, the density of air is less than exhaust from chimney. Why? Because more particles get mixed up with that smoke and it comes out. That is why. Okay. Then comes cotton. Okay. The density of cotton is less than water. Okay. Then honey. Water is fluid. Honey is semi-fluid. Yes or no? Then comes chalk, then iron. So this is the increasing order of density of the following. Okay, this is how the following substance is arranged. These are the increasing order of the density of the following substances. Understood? So students, now question number 6. Question number 6A. Tabulate the difference in the characteristic of states of matter. Tabulate the differences in the characteristic of states of matter. That means you have to make a table and you have to distinguish between the different states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. Okay. Question number 6b. Comment upon the following. You have to define the following: rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling a gas, container, shape, kinetic energy and density. I repeat, comment upon the following, that is rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling a gas container, shape, kinetic energy and density. Okay. So students, what are the different states of matter? Those are solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. Okay, now let us differentiate between these states. First, number 1, it is solid state. Solid have definite shape and volume. Okay. Then liquid state, liquid have no definite shape. Liquid attain the shape of the vessel in which they are kept. Liquid have no definite shape. It only attains the shape of the vessel in which a liquid is kept. Okay. Then gaseous state. Gases have neither a definite shape nor a definite volume. It can flow anywhere. Okay. Then number 2. Solid is incompressible. That means you cannot break the intermolecular bond between a solid. Okay. Then liquid state, compressible to a small extent. It is compressible but to a small extent. Then gaseous state, gases are highly compressible. That means the intermolecular bond between the gaseous state can easily be broken down. Okay. Then number 3. There is little space between the particles of a solid. There is little space between the particles of a solid because the intermolecular bond between the intermolecules are compact in the solid. Okay. Then liquid, these particles have a greater space between them. The intermolecular spaces is greater in liquid and the spaces between the gas particles is greatest. Okay, the intermolecule space between the gas is greatest. That means it has more intermolecular space. Okay. Then number 4. These particles attract each other very strongly. The solid particles can attract each other very strongly like iron and magnet. Okay. Then liquid, the force of attraction between liquid particle is less than solid particles. The force of attraction, the property of attraction in solid is less than that of, in liquid is less than that of solid. Okay. Then in gaseous state, the force of attraction is least between the gaseous particles. Okay, the force of attraction is very less in gaseous particles. Okay. Then number 5. Particles of solid cannot move freely. The particles of solid cannot move freely because they are compactly bound to each other. They are compactly bind to each other, packed. Okay. The intermolecules are packed in solid. That is why they cannot move easily. Liquid, the particles can move freely because the intermolecules are less compact. That is why this liquid can flow easily. Okay. And in gaseous particles are in a continuous motion. That means random motion. The particles of gases are in continuous motion. They can move very freely than that of liquid. Okay. Now students, answer number 6b. You have to define rigidity. What is rigidity? What do you mean by rigidity? Rigidity can be expressed as the tendency of matter to resist a change in shape. Rigidity means the tendency of a state to change its shape. Okay. Rigidity can be expressed as the tendency of matter to resist a change in shape. That is called as rigidity. Then compressibility. Compressibility is the ability to be reduced to a lower volume when force is applied. Okay, when you compress something by applying force, it can lessen down its volume. It can lower down its volume. That is the meaning of compressibility. You can compress it. Okay. Then number 3, fluidity. Fluidity is the ability to flow. Fluidity means to flow. Like liquid, they can flow easily. Yes or no? Fluid means what? Liquid. So fluidity is the ability to flow. Number 4, by filling a gas container, we mean the attainment of shape of the container by gas. If you fill a gas container, it means that the gas is attaining the shape of the container by getting filled inside it. Okay? Then number 5 is shape. Shape defines a definite boundary of a matter or a substance. That is shape. Then kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy possessed by a particle due to its motion. Kinetic energy is the energy that is possessed by a particle due to its motion. That means the speed of a particle in which motion it is flowing. That is kinetic energy. Density is mass per unit volume. Density is mass per unit volume. Density means the weight of a substance per unit volume. Okay? Now students, question number 7. Give reasons. Okay? A gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. Question number 7a. A gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. Okay? The answer is, there is little attraction between particles of gas in which it is kept because gas particles move freely in all directions. Therefore, gas completely fills the vessel in which it is kept. As I told you, the intermolecular bond between the gas is very less. Yes or no? And it can move freely anywhere. So, when a gas is filled in a container, it gets completely fills into that vessel. Okay, that is why it can completely fill that container or vessel in which it is kept. Okay, I repeat my answer again. Question number 7a. A gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. The answer is, there is little attraction between the particle of gas in which it is kept because gas particles move freely in all directions. Therefore, gas completely fills the vessel in which it is kept. Okay? Now question number 7b. A gas exerts pressure on the wall of the container. A gas exerts pressure on the wall of a container. The answer is, the particles of gas move randomly in all directions at high speed. The particles of gas move randomly in all directions at high speed. Full stop. The particles hit each other and also hit the wall of container with a force. Full stop. Therefore, gas exerts pressure on the wall of the container. Okay, when a gas is filled into the container, the gas is always moving. Yes or no? Because there is less intermolecular attraction between them. The intermolecular bond is less. That is why it can move freely. And when they move, they hit the walls of the container in which they are kept. Yes or no? And when they hit, they exert a pressure. Understood? When they hit, they exert a pressure. Okay. So, the answer is the particles of gas move randomly in all direction at high speed. That means it moves with high speed in all direction. The particles hit each other and also hit the wall of the container. When the particles is moving inside the container, they hit each other and they also hit the walls of the container with a force. Okay, when something is moving, it requires a force. To move something, you need force. Yes or no? Therefore, gas exerts pressure on the wall of the container. Understood? Then, answer number 7C. A wooden table should be called a solid. A wooden table should be called a solid. Why? Because, let's read out the answer. A wooden table has definite shape and volume. Yes or no? A wooden table has definite shape and volume. It is very rigid and cannot be compressed. You cannot break the table easily. It is very rigid and it cannot be compressed. That is, it has the characteristics of a solid. Yes or no? What is the characteristic of solid? It has definite shape, definite volume. It is rigid and it is incompressible. That means it cannot be compressed. That is why a wooden table should be called as solid. Okay? Number 7D. We can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. We can easily move our hand in air, yes or no? But to do the same through a solid block, you can break the solid block easily? No. We cannot break the solid block of wood easily. We need a karate expert for it. Why? What is the reason? The answer is particles of air have large spaces between them. The particles of air have large spaces between them. Yes or no? The intermolecular space between air is more. That is why, but on the other hand, wood has little space in its particle because it is a solid. Yes or no? As also it is rigid. It has less space and also it is rigid. For this reason, we can easily move our hand in air, but to do same through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. Okay, I will repeat the answer again. Particles of air have large space between them. Full stop. On the other hand, comma, wood has a little space between its particles. Full stop. Also, it is rigid. For this reason, we can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. Understood? Question number 8. Liquids generally have lower density as compared to solids. Liquids generally have lower density as compared to solids. But you must have observed that ice floats on water. Find out why. Solids have less density or not? Liquid have less density comparing to that of solid. But why does ice floats in water? What is the reason that ice float in water? Okay. So students, answer number 8. Okay. The mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. I already told you density means the weight of a substance. Mass per volume. Okay, that is density is equal to mass per volume. Full stop. As the volume of a substance increase, its density decrease. When you increase the volume, when you increase the space of a substance, the density of the substance decrease. Okay? Though ice is a solid. Yes or no? Ice is a solid or not? When a liquid is in 0° temperature, it becomes ice, and ice is a solid. Okay? It has large number of empty space between its particles. Then that ice has large number of empty space between the particles. Okay? These spaces are larger as compared to the spaces present between the particles of water, and the spaces in the ice is larger as compared to the space present between the particles of water. Thus, the volume of ice is greater than the volume of water. Here, the volume of ice is greater because the space is larger than that compared to the water. That is why the volume of the ice is greater than that of water. Okay. Hence, the density of the ice is less than the water. Yes or no? If the volume of the ice is greater because it has got many space to attract some more particles, that is why the density of the ice decrease. The weight of the ice decrease. A substance with low density than water can float on water. Okay. A substance with lower density than water can float on water. Therefore, ice floats on water. Okay. I repeat the answer once again. The mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. Density is equal to mass per volume. As the volume of a substance increases, the density decreases. Okay. Though ice is a solid, it has large number of empty spaces between its particles. Full stop. These spaces are larger as compared to the spaces present between the particles of water. Full stop. Thus, the volume of ice is greater than that of water. Hence, the density of ice is less than that of water. Full stop. A substance with lower density than water can float on water. Therefore, ice floats on water. Okay? Though students, ice is solid, but it has got more space in it to attract more particles, and which makes it larger in volume and lesser in the density. And if the density of a substance is less, if the density of a substance is less, then it can float into the water. Understood? So students, this is all for today. In the next class, I will give you more question and answers of this chapter. Okay, in the part 2, we will do the more question answers that is left, we will do in the part 2. Okay, till then, take care of yourself and study well. And please note these all question and answers in your copy. Note it down. Okay. Till then, see you again in the next class.